Good morning and welcome to our first session of the day, how AI is rewriting what's possible in driver safety. We're joined today by Simon Turner, the engagement manager for Driving for Better Business. Simon has nearly 20 years of experience championing work-related road safety and is currently leading the award-winning Driving for Better Business program at National Highways. Simon is also a trustee and former chair of the Association for Road Risk Management. He's actively involved in national road safety campaigns and advisory group. This session will talk about how AI is already reshaping how fleet operators think, act, and perform, from predictive maintenance to behavioural coaching. Artificial intelligence is turning operational data into strategic advantage. Those responsible for fleet and driver safety can now more easily identify and manage not just current, often hidden risks, but also potential future risk before they arrive. The result isn't just improved safety, it's foresight. So without further ado, Simon Turner, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve, and good morning, everybody. Before I talk about how AI is radically changing how we manage driver safety, I'd just like to set some context around the size of the challenge, because we've had some new figures released recently. The most recent reported RIDDOR figures released in July show 124 workplace fatalities for 24-25. Got the date wrong on that. That should say 24-25. Plus another 92 members of the public who were killed in work-related accidents. So 216 deaths in total. At the end of last month, the Department for Transport released the latest figures for road fatalities, and there were 63 drivers and 8 passengers, presumably colleagues, so a total of 71 who were killed while driving for work. Now, that's less than the number of employees killed in RIDDOR reportable incidents. But remember, driving for work crashes aren't RIDDOR reportable. But the key thing about those figures is there were further 388 members of the public killed in collisions that involved at least one person driving for work. And they're usually either occupants of other vehicles or more commonly vulnerable road users like pedestrians or cyclists. I do apologise, I've got the dates wrong on the slide, but they are the most recent figures just released in the last couple of months. On top of that, though, were more than 30,000 injury casualties, 12,000 people either driving or passengering in a work vehicle, and another 18,000 members of the public. So not only are they massive figures, but we know these government numbers are likely to be significantly underreported because it relies on the police completing a form field for journey purpose at the scene of the incident. That doesn't always happen, and it's not always completed correctly. So at Driving for Better Business, our role is threefold. First, to raise awareness of the need to manage driver safety within a business. It falls under the Health and Safety at Work Act, which means even if you aren't currently looking at road risk, as a health and safety professional, you are probably the person responsible for driver safety in your organisation. The second part of our role is to share good practice. What does good driver risk management look like, and what are the wider business benefits? But that leaves you, the health and safety professional, with a big challenge. We've highlighted a problem and we've shown you what good looks like. But how do you develop and implement good practice, especially if you haven't got the expertise or the resources in-house to do so? Well, we've spent the last few years filling that gap. And creating the solutions for you. And because we're supported by National Highways, they're all available completely free of charge. We've developed a series of free tools and resources to help health and safety professionals like you manage that risk, whether that's getting the board of directors on the same page, improving policies and procedures, or communicating with your drivers. Now, I'm really pleased that Driving for Better Business was able to sponsor today's event. I'm familiar with some of the areas where AI was helping, but research in this talk has highlighted many more. AI is no longer a concept for the future. It's already reshaping how organizations think, act, and perform. And today's agenda is packed with examples of how AI is doing just that in the world of health and safety. And that's as true in driver safety management as it is in any other area. AI is taking our operational data and showing us where the risks are and how to tackle them. Driving for work is a huge risk, the biggest safety risk that most employees face, but we have a wealth of data available to us to help us manage that risk. Many of us now have more data available to us than a typical Formula One pit crew, and it's often difficult to know what that data is actually telling us. And that's where AI can help. By unlocking the full potential of that data, which comes from our vehicle telematics, driver scores, dash cams, and record keeping systems, AI can enable smarter decisions across vehicle, driver, and journey safety. It also supports compliance with environmental impact frameworks while reducing fuel costs, downtime, and risk exposure. And crucially, it empowers safety managers to move from reactive firefighting to proactive control. I'm now going to show you 10 areas where AI is helping us understand the data we often already have in order to reduce work-related road risk and improve driver safety. So let's start with the basics. Making sense of the mountain of data that we already have. AI can analyze real-time fuel use, driving patterns, and maintenance needs faster than you can say Excel pivot table. All of that data can point to drivers whose driving style is putting themselves and the public at risk, as well as ramping up operational costs. It can build dashboards automatically, and it can flag anomalies in safety, compliance, and cost before they become tomorrow's headache. You could think of it as your very own digital detective spotting the odd one out, a super fast data analyst, and one that never asks for a coffee break or a pay rise. AI helps ensure legal compliance by creating automated audit trails. It can log drivers' hours, driver and vehicle checks, and training records without any manual input. It can track key dates and send renewal reminders so that you can focus on the exceptions and anomalies that it's highlighted. And it can also monitor policy adherence using video telematics, flagging unsafe behaviours in real time. AI doesn't forget and it doesn't get distracted. And it also never says, sorry, I thought someone else was doing that. Unplanned downtime for vehicles is one of the most expensive operational costs, both in terms of repairs and service disruption. But it's also a key risk for drivers, with mechanical failure putting them and others at risk and jeopardising their safety when they're stranded at the side of the road. Servicing and repairs used to be reactive. Something breaks and we fix it. But AI flips that on its head. It's able to predict component failures using sensor data and service history, so you can act before the breakdown. It can schedule maintenance around downtime, not peak hours, and it can triage any repairs that are needed based on safety and urgency. Documents are vital for managing driver and vehicle safety, but they do have a habit of piling up pretty quickly. AI can extract key data from service logs, inspection reports, and compliance forms, giving you operational insight without the paper chase. It can spot recurring issues across document types, and it can flag gaps before audit day turns into panic day. AI doesn't just read your documents, it understands them fully. It's the difference between you being able to say, I think we're fine, and here's the evidence that we need to prove that we have everything in order. Human factors are the primary cause of the vast majority of collisions. Either the driver did something they shouldn't or failed to do something they should have. In-cab cameras equipped with AI can detect distraction, fatigue, and unsafe actions before they lead to a crash. AI can send instant alerts to drivers, giving them a nudge when they need it most, or go straight to managers for something more serious. And it can analyse trends to guide training and policy updates. AI is behavioural science with real-time feedback. Not all drivers face the same risks, and AI helps us understand why. It can score drivers based on behaviour and history, forecasting who's most likely to be involved in a future crash. It's not about blame, it's about insight. AI is like your very own crystal ball, flagging high-risk drivers for coaching or intervention well before some reckless but ultimately harmless driving leads to a far more serious incident in the not too distant future. Fatigue is the cause of around 1 in 5 crashes. AI-powered biometric monitoring can track eye movement, posture, and reaction time to spot early signs of tiredness. It supports rest scheduling and break planning, reducing risk before it escalates. And it can flag well-being concerns that might need to be followed up. Training used to be one size fits all. Now AI can tailor coaching to individual driving behaviours, creating personalised feedback loops. It can use gamified dashboards to instill safer habits, because nothing motivates a driver like the prospect of beating Dave from the other depot. And it can benchmark performance across entire teams or business areas, guiding recognition and development. AI doesn't judge, it just nudges. Journey planning isn't just about getting from A to B, it's about doing it safely and efficiently. AI can forecast arrival times using real-time and historical data, helping us plan better. It can flag high-risk routes and compliance concerns so we can avoid trouble before it starts. And it can simulate multiple route options to balance cost, time, and safety. And finally, let's talk about journeys designed around drivers, not just destinations. AI can plan routes based on driver preferences, rest needs, and familiarity, reducing stress and improving safety. It can integrate shift patterns and legal limits so compliance is baked in. And it can map out high-risk locations like complex junctions or accident hotspots to avoid unnecessary pressure. We're no longer talking about just logistics. It becomes human-centric routing, with AI helping us put the driver back at the heart of the journey. So in summary, AI is no longer a distant promise. The benefits are available now. I used AI to help me with this presentation. It identified all 10 points where AI is helping driver safety managers. It helped me write the script, and it created all the images to illustrate those 10 points that I've just gone through. I'm very used to creating presentations, but AI helped me complete this task to a higher standard and in a faster time. In the presentations that follow, you'll see how AI can do the same for you too as a health and safety professional in a wide range of areas. AI is certainly doing that in the area of driver safety management and will soon become indispensable. It's helping us turn data into insight and that insight into action. The risks involved in driving for work are still very real, but so are the opportunities. By embracing AI, health and safety professionals can be more proactive in reducing collisions, raising levels of compliance and safety, and improving business performance. If you're interested in any of the free resources that we produce, you can find them at drivingforbetterbusiness.com/support. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And that's the end. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of what I'm sure will be an extremely fascinating conference. Back to you, Steve.
Simon, thank you. Some really fascinating use cases there, and it's great to see the application of where this can really lead to fundamental change and improve safety on our roads. Thank you very, very much, Simon. Just a quick note to all. Simon does have a few minutes here for any questions. You'll see at the bottom of your screen, there's a banner with a QA button there. If you just click that button, you can pose any questions. As yet, Simon, we don't have any, which just means that your presentation was very comprehensive there. You seem
Well,
to have.
it's a whole new topic, isn't it? So I'm
It
sure
is.
questions will arise over the coming months as people get to grips with it.
Absolutely. Actually, we do have a question from Nick Evans. Why are we allowing mobile phone use, recording this, reporting, and causing incidences, when prevention is better than cure, by reducing the accessibility to connectivity in the first place, or even removing the access completely to phone use? Is this not the best way to stop incidents from happening? Great question, Nick.
It absolutely is the best way. And we've actually just over the last few weeks been running a survey, which British Safety Council has been part of. And so your community has contributed to some of the results. And one of the questions was actually a list of particular driver safety initiatives, and we were asking which employers had implemented them. One of those was banning mobile phone use while driving. 70% of the respondents have banned mobile phone use in their businesses. And we've got a number of case studies that show businesses' productivity hasn't suffered from those companies that have done it. They simply found other ways of working around it. So the there's probably very little appetite for legislative change at a government level at the moment. There's plenty of other stuff that they've got on their list, but I think it's incumbent upon all of us as the health and safety community, where we've got the ability to do that, it is to ban mobile phone use while driving, because the point
Mm.
questioner made is absolutely right. It is dangerous that people think it's safer because it's legal, but it isn't. Studies continuously show it's the same level of cognitive distraction and therefore risk. So as safety managers, we should be banning that in our own businesses.
Absolutely, Simon. We do have two questions come up here. One from Rajesh Kumar. Thank you, Rajesh, and the other very similar questions. Um, does AI offer any risk to the drivers? And phrased differently, how can AI be a distraction to the driver?
Um, AI shouldn't be done in a way that's distracting to the driver. The are some instances where I do see it where from say telematics or various in-cab coaching systems that if someone brakes harshly or accelerates harshly, there's a series of red, amber, green lights on the dashboard which sort of coaches them. They, as far as I can see, seem to be pretty successful, and so there doesn't seem to be a great distraction from those. And that's really the only area where I could see that being a distraction to the driver. Um, what was Rajesh's question again?
Same question, to be honest, Simon. Just very slightly different. But the theme is: can AI actually prove to be a distraction?
Yeah, I don't think it can. I think part of Rajesh's question from memory was possibly around the impact it can have, because one of the things I mentioned about AI-enabled cameras that can detect fatigue, for instance, or mobile phone use or lack of seatbelt wearing, that obviously involves an internal facing camera on the driver. So there are discussions that probably need to be had to get the drivers on board with that and make them see that it's there to protect the drivers, because a lot of the companies that put cameras in, certainly the outward facing cameras, they protect the businesses from cash for crash claims and other
Mm,
fraudulent claims, and often that protects the driver and his reputation from collisions that actually weren't his fault or her
of
fault.
course, of
And
course.
but with the in camera, the inward facing cameras are slightly different. But again, if someone's out on the road for a long time, a camera that can spot fatigue and take action or alert a scheduler or a manager that that driver's suffering, that I think is a good thing. It's about how you
Yeah,
communicate it to the staff.
fantastic. Thank you, Simon. Simon, thank you all. Just there's been a couple of questions about will the recordings be shared? They will be. They are on our website. So please do take a look. Our next session is starting now. So thank you all, and once again, thank you, Simon.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Steve.
Bye now.